Hi everyone, the 6th Warrior Crest beta is upon us in DFFOO Global, and in this run it's going to be a no boss turn run, 7 turn run with the following party. And before going straight into the battle, just a quick description about the setup that I used. So here I have two main parties. The first is Laguna, Machina and Selfie, and the second party is Terra, Ramza and Freya. There are a few alternative options for this strategy. Terra isn't actually needed. You can replace Terra with any turn hogger DPS unit that you have. Even someone like Vayne or Tidus would work. The Seymour LD core also isn't necessary. If you don't have Seymour LD core, just give this unit the best DPS core that you have. For the Kate Sith LD core, that's pretty required because that's mainly to uptick the orb. But that being said, it is potentially possible to actually damage raise the orb with this party setup as well. So you can potentially make do without. If you don't have the Kate Sith LD call, use another call that will support your main BT mode user, which is Machina in this case. Other call examples include Iroha LD call. For Freya is pretty mandatory because when the frog-like boss or the dimension arm goes into the red attack aura, you will also have a 30% HP poison aura in play. So Freya is there mainly because her spear will heal your entire party every turn, so that will offset the HP damage that you take from the poison effect. Selfie and Laguna is there mainly for often DPS. It is potentially possible to make do without Selfie as well because, as you can see, I set the Seed Rains LD call on Machina. If you have Selfie, other options for the Seed Rains LD call would be the Onion Knight LD call, because the call on Machina is mainly only for turn manipulation. If you don't have Selfie, of course then Seed Rains would be ideal so that Machina can launch during his burst mode. Lastly, the Kurasame LD call is there just for the additional damage, but that was actually a mistake because the shift frame boss is actually immune to the Kurasame debuff, so you should probably use another call such as the Dark Knight Cecile or maybe even Maria call for their HP damage up debuff instead. So with that said, I'll cover more into the approach that I took to complete the no boss turn run in the actual battle itself. See you! Alright, so coming into the battle itself, it's important to reset at the start until Machina goes last. Doesn't matter whether Selfie or Laguna goes first, but you do need both of them to act before Machina. The first two turns with Selfie and Laguna is there for setup, so I use their respective call abilities to land their debuffs. And here I actually did not know that the shift frame was actually immune to Kurasame LD call, so please use another call ability that has HP damage up instead of Kurasame here. Anyway, I complete setup by going BT plus with Laguna to apply his Desperado, and then I had Selfie go Rapture. You don't actually need to use wall with Selfie because the buffs from the wall ability isn't very offensive in nature, and you won't be getting any attacks at all since this is a no boss turn run. On Machina's turn, I had him first use the Seed Rains base call targeting Selfie, and this is mainly for the turn manipulation. Now this is very important. Notice here I use Brave Attack and then I cancel the launch, and that's because I need to do some damage control. The idea is that you need to complete setup with Machina before the Dimension Arm boss hits 59%, and you also need to complete setup before the shift frame hits 79%, because at the 59% and 79% threshold for those bosses respectively, you will run into the yellow shield for the shift frame, for the Dimension Arm instead, and the shift frame will start having turn warping at 79%. So the magic number that you're aiming for is to complete setup when the shift frame hits 80% and when the Dimension Arm hits 60%. Now that Selfie and Laguna has completed their setup, they are no longer needed. Here I use Selfie's additional ability just to heal Machina up because he took some HP poison damage. On Ramza's turn, I had him use the Kid Thief LD call, and this is quite important. The call actually helps Machina's burst mode damage a lot. I decided to go for 1 HP damage and 1 brave damage here. And again, this is for damage control so that I do not pass the 60% threshold on the Dimension Arm. So I'm on Machina's turn now, and this is where I swap him out for Freya. Freya is there for the often damage but also for the often heals, and again that's very important because when the Dimension Arm has the red aura, you will have HP poison every turn, so the healing from Freya helps to offset that. I had her use her LD to launch and then the general Leo LD call to launch as well. And here I keep a very close eye on the damage, and I cancelled the launch because I'm very close to 60%. The general Leo LD call is mandatory here because that is the only source of damage in the game currently that can actually bypass the yellow shield mechanic. So with that, setup is complete and I go into BT mode with Machina, and it's very nice timing because the goal here is to bypass the yellow shield, so I'm doing this attack right here to bring the Dimension Arm from 60% all the way down to 49%. And when that happens, as you can see here, he will shift to the blue aura because you've passed 59%, but it will shift to the red aura because you've hit 49%. And this allows you to bypass the yellow shield completely. The second goal here is to time the damage to bypass the second yellow shield on the Dimension Arm, and that happens when it hits 19% all the way down to 9%. So essentially I'm aiming to bring the boss from 20-ish% to 9% in one attack. On these two turns with Machina while I'm attacking the Dimension Arm, I actually do Brave Attack when I launch with Ramza and Freya. And that's again to make sure I don't hit 19%, otherwise it will trigger the shield. This is a slight mistake that I did here though, because I should have done one more HP attack on one of the launches to bring it close to 20%, because right here I start the launch at 22%. And I came pretty close. Unfortunately, here I hit 10%, and the only way to remove the yellow shield now is to somehow bring the boss from 10 to 9%. And this is where General Leo LD call is very important. Again, the damage or the 10% bonus damage from the General Leo LD call actually bypasses the shield. So you may think that this run is now a failure, but it is still possible to complete a no boss turn run here. In the ideal situation, what would have happened is that that particular attack from Machina brings the Dimension Arm to 9% and you will bypass the shield completely, but it's okay, as long as it's at 10%, it is still possible for a no boss turn run. It's important to pop summon immediately after you come out of BT mode with Machina, because at this point the shift frame will actually warp its turns after every turn that you take, but you obviously cannot do that while in summon mode. Now the goal in summon mode is to quickly finish off both bosses here, and there's quite a bit of leeway here because they are both pretty low already. So notice that I'm using Ramza's LD on the shift frame. That's because it's an AoE attack and so it will not benefit from General Leo LD call. I'm just waiting for Machina's turn right here, and here I swap him out for the turn hogger DPS. So in this case I use Terra, but like I said earlier, any turn hogger DPS will do. I use Terra's LD just to get multiple free turns here, but the idea here is that I use the Cyan base call on the dimension arm, and that is actually a single target attack, and notice that the launchers will also benefit from General Leo LD call, and that 58,000 damage nicely brings the boss to 9% and removes the yellow shield. On the last few remaining turns inside summon, you want to capitalize on your turn hogger, so use the Cyan LD call here for some sweet damage. And my plan was to actually bring in Machina on the final turn inside summon so that he can finish off the shift frame. And you can actually do that by actually just swapping out your turn hogger here, as you can see. But there's still 2 more turns remaining, so I just decided to finish it off with Terra. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, I hope the video has been helpful. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia fight. Bye!